based on your 15 years in a startup, what is the most important thing a new founder should focus on in their first 90 days?
First 90 days, I would say there's two things. Number one is get something to market. Again, slap something together. If you have an idea, take the idea and run with it. Build something. AI is going to help you build it so much faster than you would ever have been able to build before, right? So use AI to help you kind of model out what you're looking for. ChatGPT has a great codex system where you can actually have it mock up what you want and actually build the code base for you and just get it to market, test things out, get that feedback. You've got friends, you've got family that you can have start using that technology to test it to see if it works. And once you see people saying, "This is great, I want to use this," then you can build from there. Or you're going to get feedback saying, "I don't know how to use it, I don't know what it does," and then you can start to iterate from there.
What's one thing you believe most people get wrong about the future of AI?
There could be possibilities where we give the AI too much access, military access, for example, things like that, where it could cause a lot of issues. But I think a lot of people, spend so much time on that and don't look at what the potential benefits of AI could actually. Ugh.
Welcome to the Feria TechCast. We'll bring you all things science, engineering, technology, and innovation. Today we are joined by Matthew White, seasoned entrepreneur and CEO of PlatypusOS, with 15 years in startup, including ventures with nine-figure exits. He founded KeyBot a decade ago to make software more accessible for business owners. Now he's building PlatypusOS, a revolutionary platform offering a fully integrated AI assistant, envisioned as a Jarvis for everyone, set to transform how we interact with technology daily. So, Matthew, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right. So, let's start at the beginning. Take us through your journey in tech and entrepreneurship. So, you founded KeyBot 10 years ago, and now you are the founder of Platypus OS. So, where did it all start from?
Yeah. So I've been in the startup industry, start sector for a while, right? Did some stuff in mobile advertising, did some stuff in marketing agency world for a bit. And then it was about 10, maybe 12 years ago, we started a company called KeyBot. And what we really wanted to do was just kind of simplify software for mostly like the small to medium sized business kind of industry. And it was a lot of fun. So what we wanted to do is just came from, again, the marketing agency world where these companies would charge a lot for like websites and SEO and PPC and social media management, et cetera. And I thought to myself, if we could give these businesses the software to be able to do this themselves, they could save a lot of time. If we can make it more accessible, easier to access, easier to manage, cheaper, then we could really drive something special for the small business market. So that's what we did. We built KeyBots. We built this like integrated, consolidated platform of all these tools, which really did very well. People, especially the small business market, really seemed to latch onto the idea of being able to use these tools more effectively. And it grew. We have some great partnerships that helped us grow and scale and become the company that was or still is. And from there, we kind of kept the idea of like simplifying software, simplifying SaaS tools for anybody at this point, and that's kind of where the idea of Platypus OS came from. So Platypus OS is like centralizing all of your AI tools into one platform, right? So all of your SaaS tools, all your software, you can prompt commands with our AI. So instead of going into your CRM and moving Joe Johnson from prospecting to contracting, you can just prompt the AI and it will do it across any CRM you're using. And there's 1,300 applications plugged into it. You can do your chat, like your chat GPT goes through it. You can do agent building. You can do agent deployment, marketplace of agents. So really trying to bring that kind of decentralized system of AI into one center place, which will create basically like a personal assistant for you. They can do pretty much anything from a software perspective on your behalf for you, located in one platform. So that's kind of the journey we've been on, and we're really excited about where it's going and how strong the AI actually tends to be. So it's pretty cool.
Oh, sounds like a really fantastic journey. So, the vision for Platypus OS is a Jarvis for everyone. So paint a picture of what that looks like in a user's daily life and what can your AI assistant actually do?
Yeah. So the way we kind of think about it is, the way AI has kind of worked for us up to this point is it can create content. It can do research for you. It can create images, that kind of stuff. We want to move into the assistive era of AI where it can actually work on your behalf. So instead of just like, hey, find me all of the companies that are doing X amount of dollars and are in this sector, you can say, find me that list, then input them all into my CRM, and then create a spreadsheet for me with all the contact information that I need so I can send an email to all of them. So just kind of broadening the scope of what AI can do for you from just, again, not just gathering data, but actually putting the data and the information to action. And that's where Platypus OS comes in. And if we think about like, we call it like the Jarvis of the AI system. If you think of like Iron Man, he just tells Jarvis what to do and it does it and it creates and works for him. That's where I think is going to be kind of that assistive personal assistant for you. And with the right systems in place and the right connections, and that's I think where the future of AI is going is connectivity, making sure everything is centralized and connected to everything within your ecosystem. I think in the future, that's going to kind of be how we operate is less sitting at a computer and using the user interface of these technologies and actually being able to just interact with the AI to be able to do that work for you and setting up workflows and automation. So you don't have to sit there doing the mundane menial tasks anymore. You can spend more time out on a job or prospecting or even, home with your family or with your friends instead of just, all the menial work that nobody likes doing anyway. So that's kind of our goal is we want to give our users back that time to do whatever else they want to do with it and just make software much more approachable for, even the least tech savvy. If you don't know how to use a CRM, but you can just tell your AI what you need it to do, that's going to allow a lot of small medium-sized business owners that maybe aren't the most tech savvy to start to adopt these technologies and actually use them. And that's what gets me excited too, is being able to help people that just need that little extra help when it comes to technology.
Interesting. So you founded KeyBot 10 years ago to make software more accessible. So how did that decade of experience specifically shape your approach to building Platypus OS?
Yeah, I think the best way to describe it is a lot of ups and downs, a lot of failures that you learn from, and a lot of iteration to understand where your product is. I think the biggest learnings that we found was listening to your customer very intently and understanding what their needs are and then building towards those needs. I work with a lot of entrepreneurs and founders. They're like, they have an idea and they want to run with it, but that idea may not always be fleshed out, right? You need users to give you feedback on whether or not that makes sense. And there were a lot of times that we launched things or we, when we first launched the company, it took us months to get even our first customers because we didn't know exactly what we knew we had something interesting, but we didn't know how to market it correctly or what the, you know, exact customer we should be approaching should be. And once you finally get you just iterate a lot, you try a whole bunch of things, you throw things at the wall and just continue to play until you find something that starts to work. And then you start doubling down on it. You say, okay, this seemed to work. Let's run with it. So I think that's the biggest learning I have is just don't be afraid to say, okay, my idea didn't work exactly how I wanted it to. Let's iterate and repurpose, retool whatever we're doing, and continue to evolve the company. And if you're not doing that, it's especially in software. If you're not ready to evolve and continue to change your technology and what you do, you're going to fall behind pretty quick.
Great. So what has been the single biggest technical challenge in developing an integrated AI assistant that is both powerful and truly accessible for everyday use?
So I think for us, getting to understand how users were actually going to use the AI was probably the most not I wouldn't say difficult, but the biggest learning we had to figure out. Right? We know that you can go to ChatGPT and use it there. We know that you can go to an agent builder system and use it there. A lot of the SaaS tools are starting to come up with their own AI tools. A lot of the software comes out with its own AI. And we wanted to think about like how are these users using this technology, and is there a way to simplify it? But that came with an idea of like, what do we do? Do we just build like a browser extension that can connect into these things? Do we, build a platform that connects in the back end? We actually ended on the idea of building a browser. So we built a proprietary browser that our users can use to do anything they want on the internet, just like any other browser, and then integrating the AI into that. And that's allowed us a lot of options. So number one, we can work API into all these technologies to help, manage any like software tool you have, and just run actions and capabilities for you. But it also allows us to work front end. So our AI can actually like scrape a website, understand what elements are there, and they can work on your behalf as well. So we can really work across any website, any application, any tool that you might have. I think the big learning was trying to understand what is the simplest way, and again, I kind of go back to simplicity a lot when it comes to technology. What's the simplest way for somebody to get in and start accessing and using these tools? And I think that's what we found is if we take a browser, which can almost be an operating system, and plug it into the AI itself, it's pretty limitless. You can pretty much do anything a user might want with AI. And I think that was one of our biggest learnings, kind of creating this and building it out and understanding where to go with this kind of technology. It's crazy technology is coming out, and I think we've got a really nice door into how to use it.
So, from your experience with companies that had major exits, so what is the most common mistake you see technical founders make when they first start building a product?
When they're building the product, I think again, it kind of goes back to not listening to your customer base. I would say probably the biggest thing that people need to learn is build something quick and fast, get it out to the market. That is, I think a lot of people, they'll sit there and say, I need to build something perfect, right? I'm building a technology. It's got to be the perfect blend of this, that, and the other. And I can't launch until it's that. That's where you're going to get left behind. So you may have a good idea, but if you just sit there continuously pushing back and saying, it's not ready yet, it's not ready yet, it's not ready yet, somebody else is going to take that idea and run faster than you. So take whatever you're building and launch it. Even if you have to launch it for free at first to get that feedback, to see if people are going to use it, and then see if people are going to buy it. So you get some people starting to use it, and then you push in some upgrade features so that people can upgrade and start to pay you. That's where you need to kind of figure out if you have something. Are people using it? And will people pay for it? And if you're not moving fast enough down that track, somebody else is going to beat you to it. Even if you have a great idea, just throw something at the wall, build an MVP, get it to some beta users that know it's beta and understand that there may be flaws with it, but that you want their feedback and you need them to help you understand what to build next and how they're going to use this technology. So my biggest thing I would say to anybody building a product is build the minimally viable product, get it, out to as many people as you can, and then iterate from there.
Oh, that's an interesting one. So, tell us, Matthew. So, what's a breakthrough moment you've had while building Platypus OS that made you think, "Ah, yes, this is actually going to work"?
I think it was actually just starting to test AI, right? So we'd kind of built a browser. So my co-founder and I, we started building a browser just kind of for the fun of it. Like KeyBot was doing well and growing, and we were just like, okay, we're kind of bored. Should we do something new? Should we play with something? So we started building a browser just kind of for fun to see if we could kind of recreate the browser experience. I don't like having 100 tabs open and just kind of the horrible experience that a typical browser is. So we started building that. And then we got to this idea is like, hey, what if we just started plugging AI into this? Can we get it to run actions for us by just feeding it the API documentation? Or can we get it to work on the front end of a website? And this was probably 6-8 months before we saw companies like Perplexity and OpenAI's browser start to do these same types of things with like the front end. So we started building that and realized how well it actually works, which was a big aha moment for us. We're like, wow, we really can get the AI to understand what's on the page or how to use APIs to be able to take actions. And so we started going down that rabbit hole. And it's not easy to build. Don't let me fool you there. Like it takes a lot of prompt engineering. It takes a lot of AI engineering. It takes a lot of connectivity. I mean, we have 1,300 different applications that are connected into our platform, right? So we had to go get the API documentation and the API credentials to be able to plug those systems in. So it's a lot of work. But once we realized what AI can do at this point from assistive nature, we ran as fast as we could towards this, knowing that this is where the future of AI is going to be, is uh, actionable results that AI can do for you, and take a lot of those, just kind of tasks that you don't want to do on a daily basis off your plate and move it into a more automated kind of version.
So, tell us, Matthew, what's your philosophy on making complex AI feel simple and intuitive for non-technical users?
I think it's the way they access it. If it like again, right now, a lot of people aren't adopting it because they don't know where to go. They don't know. I mean, everything's being thrown at them at one time, right? There's all these different new tools coming out, or they just don't know what it can do for them. And I think the educational process is something that I think the entire industry needs to start working on to get people to understand what this can do. One of the ways I think about AI is AI isn't just a tool or an application anymore. It's a team member. It is smart enough, it can do enough for you at this point that you should think about it as like a member of your team, an extension of your team. Because if you don't think about it in that way, and other people are, they're gonna leave you behind. So the way I think about it is like you can create AI assistants specifically within our platform, that can be specific to marketing. So now you have a marketing person, and you have a sales person, and you have an operations person. This is what I think is cool too. It kind of levels the playing field for like the small and medium sized business market, where before it might just be the owner and a couple techs that are going out and doing whatever work is, and they didn't really have the resources to market or run some of their operations or finances the way they should. Now you can have a whole team for very little money, that can help you do all of these things. You can have a marketing assistant, AI assistant, that can evaluate your websites on a daily basis and make updates to it for you to make sure that you are running fast enough, that it's optimized for you. And I think that's one of the things that if people can get in their minds, they're going to see what it can do, and then they'll start adopting, and just being able to build a more fluid access point where somebody gets in and they don't really have to think too much about it. They can say, okay, it's got a really great workflow to get it set up for me. And now I can just start typing or voice prompting to it, and it's going to do what I need. Make it simple. That's kind of, again, my philosophy with all software and technology. The simpler, the better, the more users you're going to get to start using your system.
Oh, well, that's fantastic. So, where do you see the biggest gap in the current AI market that Platypus OS is aiming to fill?
I think going back to connectivity, what we're seeing now is just it's kind of the entire industry is just kind of all over the place. Again, you go to ChatGPT to use, chat and voice prompting for research and information. You go to N8N to be able to build agents, that can work on your behalf, workflow agents. Then you got to plug those into the SaaS tools that you're using, right? If you have the knowledge and capability to do that. And then you're logging into all your SaaS tools, and some have AI and some don't. And so you just kind of confused on what you can use AI for. I think that kind of just separated ecosystem is what's lagging, adoption of AI. And that's what we're coming in and trying to fix, right? So we are connecting it all into one platform. You can come into one place and you connect all of your tools. And whether those software, your CRM, email marketing, whatever it is, whether it has AI baked into it or not, our AI can work on those tools. So we can do actions for you without you having to have any other AI capable in those systems. So that connectivity allows AI to be a lot more prevalent in kind of everything you do on a daily basis. And then again, you have your chat in the same, like everything you're going to do. You can in our like chat system, you can say, hey, I want you to give me a recipe for, bolognese sauce, and also update John Johnson's account in my CRM from, prospecting to account closed. So all those types of things are possible within the system. And you can also build workflows too. So it's like move Joe Johnson from accounting or from prospecting to account closed, send them an invoice for 7 hours, and then send them a thank you email. So that just doing that would save just one user. I said that in like 30 seconds, right? Or 10 seconds. That if you sat at the computer would take you 5 minutes. And if you have a lot of clients, that's just going to save people so much money by you or so much time and money by using these systems more effectively. So that's what we get excited about, is being able to make just this all just so much more accessible. And I think that connectivity is where the next step lies.
Well, that's great. So, for the developers in our audience, what does the tech stack and architecture for an ambitious project like Platypus OS look like?
Yeah, so it depends on what you're looking to do, right? If you're looking to try to build an entire platform, like an AI platform like us, I mean, the tech stack is big. We have AWS servers that are running our entire platform. We've got, the different coding systems that we're using. We build MCP servers for pretty much everything and then run them. We've got a pretty complicated like MCP server system built into our platform where we pretty much there's just like if you have an assistant, that's a server that connects to other servers within our ecosystem, and it just continues to build on top of itself. So any agents that are built, any API documentation that's set up, they're all just MCP servers that connect back and forth and communicate. So building that infrastructure is a lot. There's a lot that goes into kind of how that works, but also use AI as a coding platform, right? So we've done so much of our coding within our platform on by having AI kind of script it for us, and then we come in and fix and adopt and and translate what that looks like in kind of our vision. So there's some great tools out there to be able to really kind of help AI build your product or help have AI help you build your product for you and run with it. I think there's also a new industry that's kind of burgeoning as well that I think is exciting is the agent building ecosystem. So a lot of people want, you know, pre-built off-the-shelf workflows. Let's say I'm a real estate agent and I want to scrape the MLS every day, and then I want it to compare the new houses on the market to my prospects in my CRM, and then send each of those a customized email with a list of the houses that fit, what they're looking for. There is a huge need out there for people that want those kind of workflows to automate them, and building those within ecosystems like Platypus OS, where you can actually start to build those workflows and those automations, plug them into our system like this, and sell them at scale. That I think is where the huge opportunity lies, and the people that are building those kinds of things right now are going to be first to market. So if you're trying to think of a new business you want to start creating, look at the agent ecosystem. It's easy to build on a platform like us. It's like no code. You can pretty much prompt engineer everything that you would need, and then run it through a system like ours. Or there's a lot of other marketplaces as well for AI, but that's if you can get in like soon and now use whatever knowledge you have and what industry or job you've been in, you'll be first to market and you're going to be able to take a lot of market share very fast. So start looking at what you know and what you can automate for people. And there's a burgeoning career path for a lot of people that want to create something for themselves.
Fantastic. So, moving back to entrepreneurship a bit. So, tell us, based on your 15 years in a startup, what is the most important thing a new founder should focus on in their first 90 days?
Sure. First 90 days, I would say there's two things. Number one is get something to market. Again, slap something together. If you have an idea, take the idea and run with it. Build something, and AI is going to help you build it so much faster than you would ever have been able to build before, right? So use AI to help you kind of model out what you're looking for. Use, ChatGPT as a great codex system where you can actually have it mock up what you want and actually build the code base for you and just get it to market, test things out, get that feedback. You've got friends, you've got family that you can have start using that technology to test it to see if it works. And once you see people saying, this is great, I want to use this, then you can build from there. Or you're going to get feedback saying, I don't know how to use it. I don't know what it does. And then you can start to iterate from there, saying, okay, what is it that you're confused about? What is it that you need to kind of move this through? What would it take for you to use this more effectively? And then build on that. And let your customers, your users tell you where to go with it. So that's number one. Number two, and this is something that I preach a lot, is start building a network as fast as possible. Start reaching out to people that are in your industry, people that you think could be potential users of your technology, people that you just want to connect with. If you need to raise money, like your network is going to be a big part of that. It's very hard to get fundraising done if you just cold email people. You're going to need to build a network that has connections into that world and then use those connections to get the introductions that you need. I would say for me, I try to go to a couple networking events every week. And it's a pain sometimes. And sometimes it's at night and I'm like, I'm just tired. I want to chill out on my couch and eat some, takeout. But I still go to them because I think about one of our biggest accounts with KeyBot was me going randomly to this networking event who I met somebody who introduced me to another person, then to another person and another person. And all of a sudden it's like a multi-million dollar account, right? So you need to really just understand that building your network is going to be the most important thing you can do as a founder and as an entrepreneur, because that's where the doors are going to open. You're going to be able to start to grow your organization, grow your company.
Great. So, Matthew, how do you see AI changing how everyday people interact with the internet in the next 2 to 3 years?
You know what I think? So part of me thinks that it might be there's going to be ups and downs with it, right? When it comes to careers and jobs, it's going to be a big change. We're already seeing here in San Francisco where I am, the Waymo automated cars are driving down the road. So those are jobs that are going to automated systems. And there's going to be a lot of that that's going to happen over the next few years. One thing I do see it doing is number one, I think it's going to allow people to work on the more creative endeavors that they want. Is going to allow them taking time out of sitting at your computer for 3 hours, at the end of the day to, do your books and send out your billing and update your CRM and make sure your marketing is working and answer those, respond to those social media, you know, commentaries and all that kind of stuff. We're going to be able to automate those kinds of things so that you can work on the fun work that you want to do, whether it is, creative marketing, whether it's, being out on the job more. I think again, small business market, if a plumber can sit there, can take the 2 hours a day off of his plate of seeing his computer and updating all of his technology to being on the road for 2 more hours, that's a lot of money in a week that they're going to be able to make. So it's going to expand your opportunity to make more money, and then hire more staff because you're going to need more plumbers because there's more work to be done. So I think there's number one. Number two, I also think if we build this right, where you can interact with technology while not having to sit at a computer, where you can actually interact by voice through your phone, through just kind of talking with AI and having it do the work for you. I think it can turn a little bit of this, like all of us sitting on our computers and staring at screens all day. I hope that it can kind of move us away from that and start having us interact more socially. Whether it's, you know, getting out there and talking to people more often and not spending that time on the computer, or even just interacting with the AI still is kind of verbal, verbal interaction where you might be able to just kind of rebuild kind of that social brain a little bit to be able to get out there. I just see a lot of people that spend so much time seeing their computers and not interacting. And I hope that AI can kind of pull us away from that a little bit. And I think that would be an exciting, forward thinking way of how AI might be able to change the world a bit.
Amazing. So, what's one thing you believe most people get wrong about the future of AI?
Well, that's a good question. I think there's a lot of pluses that come with AI. I think there's a lot of things that we need to be thinking about. And I think, especially from a legislative perspective, there's a lot of things that we need to start to enact that will put protections in place because this is powerful software. It does think and it does have its hallucinations, and there can be issues with how that operates. But there's all the doomsday people, and again, that could be a possibility. There could be possibilities where we give the AI too much access, military access, for example, things like that, where it could cause a lot of issues. But I think a lot of people, spend so much time on that and don't look at what the potential benefits of AI could actually be. And again, for me, those are hopefully giving you time back in your day and your week, giving you the time to, again, spend on the work that you love and the work that you want to be doing, or even getting out of the office and spending time with family and friends, which I think a lot of people aren't doing as much anymore. I think that whole grind culture that we were taught for so many years, I think with AI, we can still grind and get a lot of work done, but we can take time for ourselves. And I hope that's where AI can lead us a bit, is leaving a little bit of that behind and building back to a place where we can become the social creatures that we are and really kind of interact with our communities more, spend more time, family, friends in our community, doing whatever work you might want to do for your community and things that bring you pleasure instead of just the sitting at your computer and updating, QuickBooks all day long.
But that's a really great one. So, Matthew, part of the theme of this podcast is centered around innovation. So, for that reason, there's a particular question I like to ask every guest I interview here on this podcast. So, tell us, what does innovation mean to you, and how does it relate to your field in the context of AI and software development?
Yeah, I love that question. I think innovation to me is all about thinking forward, right? And that can be in a whole bunch of different ways. So thinking forward can be, thinking of ways the technology can be working for us. We can think of especially with AI, you can think of, whole different industries and whole different careers people could have. And that's big innovation. But I think also innovation comes from, companies. We've seen so many companies over the last decades. You think about like the blockbusters or things like that didn't look at new ways and especially look at technology to understand what it can do for you. And they get left behind. Innovation is just looking at what you're doing and saying, what's next? What is the next thing that's coming down the pipeline or that we can create? How can we get creative? I think innovation is all about creativity and understanding, hey, I like what I'm doing, but there can always be a better way. And then striving for that better way. And that's how the best companies stay ahead of the market. They come in and they say, hey, this is great what we've built right now and it's working well. What's next? What can I build next? And I think that's where, also from my perspective, that's where the fun lies in, especially like working in tech, is I never want to sit at the place and be like, I did it. I built the product and now it's there. No, I want to always be innovating, changing, updating, and building towards whatever my customers or users are looking to get from us. So I think that's what innovation is, and I think it's the most exciting part of any job.
And that's a really fantastic one there. So finally, tell us, where can our listeners go? Maybe test out Platypus OS and try it out for themselves.
Yeah, so if you go to Platypus OS, so PlatypusOS, so all one word, .com, you can sign up right there. So we're releasing it in batches right now, but it's pretty quickly opening up. So just go there, sign up for it, and you'll get access probably within a couple days. And then, yeah, go there and test it out. We love any feedback that we can get. Just we've got a lot of feedback channels coming into us right now. And honestly, everything we've built has continuously been by our users saying, hey, this is cool. Could it do this? How could it be better this way? And then we're like, that's great. Yeah, tell us what you want, and we're going to go to work and build it and continue to innovate. A platform like this to what it is exactly that you're looking for. It's your assistant. We're building your personal assistant. So tell us what you want from your personal assistant.
Sounds really cool. So, Matthew, it's been a really awesome conversation with you, and I'm excited to have you on the show today.
Thank you. It's great being here. Appreciate it.